Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Harold. I feel like this video series has been good for keeping tabs on my hairstyle. It's been over a year since lockdown and I've finally achieved probably an official top bun. I think people went one or two ways. We either shaved it all off or let it grow out and just see what happens. I'm cool with it. Don't mind it. Probably keep it for a while. So today is the day before the gyms hopefully open up again for the last time. This has happened a couple times before, so who knows what's going to go down. But this one, I'm not going to go into it too much, but we'll see what happens. I'm keeping my hopes up to some degree. And basically during this new year, I was having a little look back on my progress so far on the videos. I was thinking about what was slowing me down, I guess. I was looking at my videos and seeing where I was going wrong and where I was kind of losing that motivation to want to keep going and making some more. And I think the main thing that kept on pulling me back, obviously, except for the gyms closing down and everything being a little bit topsy-turvy, was this expectation on myself to keep driving progress. That's probably the big thing. And with that expectation kind of put on myself, as soon as the gyms would close again, or trying to maintain this lifestyle that I've never actually had to live before, I would kind of built myself and my career around the gym and using the facilities available to me. So take that all away, it became quite foreign, to say the least, I guess is probably how I put it. I'd say it's probably quite a shared experience where I expected myself to handle it a lot better than I thought I would. But put in that situation wasn't the easiest. Regardless of what it was, the point being, I had a little think about it, and I feel like I want to take a bit of a redirection with what I'm doing, how I want to move forward with, I guess, my videos and my training and what's going on. I decided I want to make it a little bit less of here's progress, here's how I expect things to go according to plan. I think it'd just be easy to show my experiences going through a bit of a fresh start and trying to rebuild what was once there, but is taking a back seat for a while. It's been a couple months. I think it's been since the beginning of the year, January something, whenever this is when it closed down. It is now in mid-April, and I've done nothing. I've done absolutely nothing, and I'm not ashamed to say that. Some of it's been good, some of it's been boring. It is what it is. So yeah, I think this will be the start of, starting tomorrow, this will be the start of just my experiences, trying to get back in the swing of things. I want to show the successes, the failures, any problems that may occur. I've not been in this position in a long time since I started weightlifting, however many years ago. Now I must be pushing on a decade. I've not really been out of the gym for longer than, say, maybe a couple weeks for a holiday or whatever the case may be. So I kind of want to, instead of putting this expectation on myself of I have to make progress and show people the right way to do it per se, I just want to see what happens, and I want to document that, and I want to learn together. That's what I want to do. So that is my intro. Next week, I'm going to be on it. Hopefully. So we are back in the gym. Full discretion, this is my second workout of the week. Went on the very first day the gyms opened, and there was just too many people, man. I didn't really want to get in the way, put my camera around, so I thought I'd just leave it for that one and just film the second one. You get the general vibe. I kind of wish I filmed the first one though. It was interesting to see how much of a difference a couple months would make of doing absolutely nothing, kind of not really focusing on looking after myself as good as I should have. So here I am looking after myself just a little bit more. Throughout the few months, did work here and there, a little bit manual labor, and a lot of it was a lot of walking, kind of battered my calves, my legs, and doing that first workout really showed me how stiff they really were. So I just want to do some foam rolling, generally all around over my legs, find any tight spots, work them out just a little bit before we get into it. So as I suggest to most people who've taken an extended period of time away from the gym, we're sticking to full body workouts just a few times a week. when you compare it to what you were doing before, that's what you should count for in your new training program. We're not comparing it to when we're in the middle of a training cycle. We're trying to up the progression. We're comparing it to I was doing nothing and now I'm going to doing something. So literally 1 to 2 exercises per muscle group is already going to give you a good bit of stimulus to drive that progress going forward. It's something I want to kind of talk about and hammer on for anybody kind of coming back to the gym for the first time like myself. As you can see over here, I'm just kind of doing a little bit of working out the kinks through my form, just checking out the end ranges of motion, kind of flossing through them. As I said, my calves were a little bit battered over the last few months, so just doing a little bit of extra light stretching in between just to make sure they're kind of opening up, make sure I'm getting any knots that may or may not be there. I'm just kind of mobilizing the muscle as I go. Generally speaking, they say don't do a lot of kind of heavy stretching before a workout, but if that is starting to hinder your workout in general, a good bit of light stretching will do you good. And just a couple more reps to open up my hips, stretch out the hamstrings a little bit more. Again, everything was just quite tight on me, so all round warm up for me today. So although this is my second workout, a lot of the same rules apply here as they will do for the rest of your training career. We're just going to do nice, slow, steady increments, trying to build up to our top set. Keeping the sets across quite steady, sets of 5, just loosening up, seeing how each weight feels as I go up. And again, just making sure it feels good every single set. It's your first week back. If you're already starting to struggle and max out on a lot of these reps, you're probably missing the point of coming back to the gym. Back to the point of my first workout, usually your first one, when you do the first exercise, back squats for example, I suggest you build up nice steady sets, keep the sets across and just keep working up until the weight starts to slow down, you start feeling those slight breaks in form. On my first one, that's where I built up to the 80 kilos that you're seeing now, and it just hit me like a brick wall. I did not expect it. It was only meant to be a little stepping stone, but everything just seized up below me, and it was not a good time. So today's second workout, right back into the squats. I'm using that as my top set, the 80 kilos. I think that's one of the main things you really shouldn't be afraid to do, is taking that step back and saying, right, this is getting too heavy, and just being completely honest with yourself. Is my form spot on for my first week back? Real quick, this is me just all side by side, all my 3 sets across. I just thought it'd be really good to put them side by side and just make sure they are all clean, all quite uniform. You see my first set's a little bit slower. I think I was just being a bit more trepidatious after the first workout, but on the whole, I was quite happy with the way it looked, and that's how I want to proceed with my training. Moving on from the legs, straight into the overhead press. First workout, I did the bench press, so this is just me alternating that, just to not overuse the smaller structures of the shoulders and the upper body. So all following kind of the same trend. I'm not gonna belabor the point. You're gonna warm up, nice empty bar, you're gonna add a little bit of weight, you're gonna add a little bit of weight, then you're just gonna keep working your way up until you find a weight that feels really good for you. And again, feels good on the body, not just for the ego, like I said. Cap this one at 40 kilos, 3 sets across, 5 reps, all roughly the same idea. You get the point. Here I am about to do deadlifts. I'm just gonna let the rest of these clips play again. I'm not gonna hammer the point. You can see what's going on. It's quite simple, but I want to kind of talk about the big lesson that I want to be the take-home message for today, and that's embracing being a beginner. I think the name in itself, being a beginner, throws a lot of people off, and it's not to do with how long you've been in the gym. It's not to do with how much you know. Your body, in essence, is how it's adapted dictates where you are in the cycle, and coming back from a long stint is you're kind of a beginner again. You're coming back in essence to square one, and that's a good thing. I think that's the big thing. You should embrace that beginner stage, because that's where a lot of the most rapid gains you're ever going to get are going to happen. And that kind of gets us to the crux of the issue, is when you don't embrace being a beginner and you start looking for those advanced techniques or those advanced programming, I think is going to give you those superior gains. Like, we're all guilty of it. I was exactly the same. It's not designed for that. It's made for someone who has been training for a longer period of time, someone who's later in their fitness journey. Whereas beginner programs are designed to give you really fast results and really show marked improvement, as well as practicing the lift several times a week, which is why the full body works so well. These aren't because you're lesser of a lifter. It's designed specifically to give you rapid gains based on your level of training. So finished off on one top set of the deadlifts at 100 kilos, into the pull-ups, few sets across, just trying to get the reps out, trying to build my body up to where it used to be. And that was pretty much it for my workout. Just, one major lift, one major muscle group, doing that several times a week. And that was pretty much the training program. So it's Sunday now, end of the week. Ended up doing 3 workouts in total, all full body, and been climbing twice, I believe it was. I'm not going to go too much into the climbing of things. I want to talk more about the lifting. But that being said, just make sure if you do something quite active, regardless of what it is, do you know what I mean? Climbing, gymnastics, any kind of active type hobby that you want to do on the side. A lot of the same rules apply. When I went to climbing, it had been just as long off as I had been for the gym. So went in steady, did a nice little warm-up, basic stretch, did a lot of the lower grade climbs, and slowly worked my way up the colors, because it's all graded for you, so it's a bit simple. So same thing as starting on a low weight, climbing your way up, starting on an easy climb, and you start going to the more and more difficult ones as your body starts to adjust and get used to the new stressors it hasn't been dealing with for a while. And that also goes into when programming becomes quite important, because you then have to start accounting for how much stress you put in, not only in the gym but also with your hobbies, because they all come into play at the end of the day for how much your body can actually put up with. So sometimes I get questions like, is running X amount of times a week a problem? And the answer is no, but it depends. So again, just to conclude and wrap up everything that we've kind of dealt with this week, being a beginner, cool thing. Full body workouts, we're looking at that. Frequent exposure to the lifts again, just really hammering it. You can do 1 legs day a week where you get to practice that squat 1 time, or you can do less exercises, focus on the things that make the biggest difference. Again, a big squat is going to do a lot more for your physique than a leg extension or a lunge. Focusing on using the big lifts, lots of muscle groups, regularly, progressively loading them. All good stuff, but it's been nice to be back, feel a lot more alive again. So I think over the next few weeks we'll start talking about more of the intricacies of how your program should develop, how lifting should develop as you go along. It's not going to be the same thing forever and ever. You're not going to pick a program and do that for the rest of your life. Next week is when I start adding a few more different kind of lifts. I want to look into the power variants of a few lifts that I like to do for my core program. And I want to show what it looks like to start drip feeding a few of these new exercises in, instead of just coming straight into maybe your old programming. But I think that does it for me today. I think gonna get some nice food in, gonna get some nice sleep, and we're gonna start this whole process all over again. If you enjoyed, if you learned something, feel free to subscribe. We'll do some more of these videos and see how everything goes. But other than that, man, have a good week. Enjoy yourself. Don't go crazy. Let's see what we can do.